We are now at that stage of the season where we have a nice large sample size of most players and we have a general idea of where they're going to fall, rather it's their proven production or their attributes and tools and the potential that they have. Either way, man, again, we have a large sample size of most players. And I can't lie, some players, they will fall and some players will rise due to their draft combine and their pro days. And in this series, I just want to talk about some of my top players that have been rising and some players that have been falling, and they have a chance, but they need to do a 180 right now. So hope you guys enjoy this series. This is all my opinion. If you like the video, make sure you like. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe and comment down below some players that, you may think I got wrong or I didn't talk about. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so as you guys can see down below by the title, we're talking about edge rushers first, and we got to bring up my favorite edge rusher, probably number one on my big board. He had probably the most preseason hype going into this year. He was rated, I think, 95 overall on the new college football game, rated like number one. And that is James Pearce JR, man, the 6'5" edge rusher from Tennessee. And I can't lie, I've watched every single Tennessee game this season due to James Pearce Jr. Like, I love his game. He has just a very explosive first step off the ball. We've seen, yes, he did jump offside versus Alabama, but when you see him just like on a regular down, like his first step is going to feed families. It's going to feed my family. Not just playing. But look, man, James Pearce Jr., he's shown a lot of growth this season. Last year, scouts were saying, he relies too much on his first step. He doesn't really have any pass rush moves. This year, he's knocked all those allegations out the window. The dude is a phenomenal pass rusher. He's using his hands, doing rip-throughs, swim, clubs, whatever you want, he got it, okay? And this year, scouts said that, he's a bit undersized. And yes, he's about 240. And their main problem was, can he be a run defender? And this year, again, he's been a really good run defender. Not the best, but just he's getting better, and that's the main thing. And I do think that he does have potential to be a star in the NFL, going to the right team. My best team fits for James Pearce, seeing like on the Bucks, the Colts, or even like the Chargers, replacing Khalil Mack, because I don't think Khalil Mack's going to be there after this year. The Buccaneers, they need some edge help, and then the Colts, same. I mean, him, Latu, DeForest Buckner, and Grover Stewart, that's a nasty front four. And look, I know what you're thinking, right? Looking at his stats, he doesn't have crazy stats. He has like 5 sacks this season, and I get it. I know what you're going to say. Oh, he's not going too crazy. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, Tennessee probably has the deepest defensive line room in the country. Not in the SEC, in the country. They're constantly moving guys in and out of lineups. They don't always have like the same front four, more than like 2, maybe 3 downs maybe. And James Pearce Jr., they have Jonathan Josephs, they have Caleb Herring, Dominic Bailey. They got a bunch of guys in that defensive line room. And James Pearce Jr. actually, I think he's like top 5 like pressure rates or even pressures. The dude, even when he has quote unquote limited reps, he still takes advantage of those reps. And I mean, to me, that's very impressive. But that's James Pearce Jr. What do you guys think about James Pearce Jr. down below? Moving along, I don't think this guy will declare for the draft. I really haven't seen him on any big boards, but I've been watching his games, and that is Mykel Green from Marshall University. If you guys follow me on TikTok, it was about the 3rd or 4th game of the season where I talked about Mykel Green, and this dude, like, he's been going under the radar all season long. I think he's like number 2 or 3 in the nation in sacks. And yes, he's not playing like Ohio State. Well, he did play Ohio State. He's not playing like Penn State, Alabama, or Oregon every week, but he's proven himself to be above his competition, and I do think that plays a factor. Guys like Quinyon Mitchell last year, DeMarcus Ware, he went to like Troy. He was a man among boys in his college days and things like that. So I do think there is potential for him. I think he is like maybe a day 2 or a day 3 pick. He has a really nice like swipe move that he does. He could definitely bend the edge. Mykel Green from Marshall University, one of those guys. All right, man, moving forward to a safe pick, a very safe pick. It is Texas A&M edge rusher Nick Sorensen. He has the whole package. He has the size. He has the length. He has like the polished pass rush moves. He can be a run defender. I do think he is a safe pick going into the draft. He can follow, he can fall in the early stages like 1 through 5. He can fall in the late rounds, and either way, I think he's going to have great value going to the right team, going to the right system. Again, he's a safe pick, and you really can't go wrong with him. Nick Sorensen, he's been balling out all season long for Texas A&M. I'm going to stay in the SEC, and this probably will be the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He leads the SEC in sacks and tackles for loss. It is the former 4-star recruit from Atlanta, Georgia, Kyle Kennard for South Carolina. This dude right here, bro, he's been balling. One of these guys, they did comment under my TikTok talking about Kyle, and I want to do some research on Kyle. And Kyle, he looks great as a prospect. He can beat you with both speed and or power, and he has shown steady progression during his 5 years in college. And now his first 4 years were at Georgia Tech, and at South Carolina, he just put it all together in his last season. Again, leading the SEC in both sacks and tackles for loss. Hey, Kyle Kennard, he is a very safe pick. I mean, you really can't go wrong with him. All right, so this next prospect, he's going to be a bit of a wild card pick. He can fall in between like top 5 or like day 2. It's going to be very, very, very wild to see Abdul Carter's draft process. Me personally, I have him between like 3 and 5 as far as my edge rushing rankings go. But Abdul Carter, he is a very, very good pass rusher. Run defense wise, he's a little bit iffy. But again, this is his first year being a full-time edge rusher, and he looks great. You know, I mean, he has a really great year. He's having a really good year, and I do think even if he doesn't pan out as a edge rusher, he is a really good standing up linebacker, because that's what he came in as, was a linebacker. And if you guys remember in 2023 when Penn State had Chop Robinson, DDS, Adisa Isaac, Abdul Carter was actually a linebacker. And again, this year was his first year at edge, and I do see some Micah Parsons comparisons with him. And again, depending on what team he goes to, he may just be a wild card where some downs he's going to be the edge, some downs he's going to be the linebacker. Sometimes he's going to be like inside with the big boys, standing up over a guard or a center. But Abdul Carter, again, a very explosive first step. He has a nice little rip move that he does and things like that. And with the right coach, I do think he can develop into a decent, not a superstar, not Mykel Parsons, but a decent full-time edge rusher. Abdul Carter, again, he's going to be very volatile, and I think he's going to be just very volatile. It's going to really depend on his pro day. Okay, so for these next two guys, I'm going to have them just on one little spill. The first one being Jalon Walker and the second being Mykel Williams, both being Georgia guys. I'm a big Georgia fan, so I've seen them both play. And first off, with Jalon Walker, he's very similar to Abdul Carter, being both an edge rusher and a linebacker. But I do think he's going to come in as a linebacker. That's his natural position. He looks a lot more comfortable as a linebacker. Now, however, as an edge rusher, he saved our season versus Kentucky. It was early on the season, bro. Go back and watch that game. He made some incredible plays versus Kentucky. I can't lie. He looked like, he looked like J.J. Watt out there. Nah, just playing. But look, Mykel Williams, however, he's been a bit of I'm not going to say a disappointment because he has been dealing with some injuries. But him just having 2 sacks only versus Texas, I thought I would see a lot more. And, as a run defender, he's semi-decent. I do think he's going to fall into, day 2, round 2, maybe even round 3. But no further than 4 or 5 or 6 or even 7. Round 1, it's going to be a very, very toss-up situation, depending on if other guys fall and things like that. But both of these guys, really good for Georgia. I just hope that Mykel Williams picks up his play and just balls out during his pro day and his combine. Okay, so since we're talking about teammates, we got to talk about the Ohio State duo between Jack Sayer and JT Tuimalu. I don't know how to say his last name, sorry. But anyways, man, these two, they've been a bit up and down all around. Going into the season, I did did some research, heard some podcasts, and it was pretty much known that these two was going to be very, very high or very, very underperforming, and they've both been kind of underperforming. I've watched a few Ohio State games, and I forgot that they're even on the field at times. Like sometimes they just go ghost, they go disappear. I hope versus IU this weekend that they do ball out, because I do hate IU with a passion. So I'm hoping that they can ball out, get like 25 sacks each, 25. Nah. That's top tier glaze. But look, man, JT and Jack, they do have tools to be phenomenal pass rushers. It's just, I don't know. Again, I mean, I just don't see like the it factor with these guys. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys, they have some advanced analytics that I just can't see, like, pressures and, tackles for losses. I don't know. It's just, when I see these two play, I just don't really see like star potential. Maybe I'm wrong again. Now, I know what you're thinking. You mess out on this guy. You should talk about that guy and things like that. I get it, but I can't talk about every single guy. Now, if you guys want a part 2, comment down or like this video, and we can get a part 2 going. Because there are some other prospects that I do want to talk about, but these are some of the top prospects that I want to talk about just in general, that had preseason hype, that's making their way up like Mike Green, that has potential like James Pearce, but that's also kind of falling like the duo from Ohio State. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And comment down below, again, guys that I missed out, guys that I should talk about more. And I'm out, man. Peace.